everybody, my name is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Self-Care Sunday. Today I am outside because I want to talk to you about something that I've been doing over the past couple of years that I find very comforting, very soothing, and that is nature journaling. So I discovered nature journaling through a free class that was offered by one of our libraries, the Marina Library. It was provided by, thanks to the Friends of the Marina Library, and taught by Melinda Nakagawa of sparkandnature.com. And she offers some very wonderful classes and workshops regularly. And I just fell in love with this form of connecting with nature. So nature journaling is pretty self-explanatory. It is going out into nature and journaling what you see. But I think that oftentimes people think that you have to be a perfect artist or a scientist or know everything about plants and animals and nature to do it. I think people often think of it as a very scientific pursuit or a very artistic pursuit. And it can be both of those things, but for me, it's just a very fun, relaxing way to connect with nature. So I don't have any art background, I don't have a science background, but what nature journaling has done for me has allowed me to pause when I'm outside and really just observe the world around me. So one of the biggest things with nature journaling is to just stop and become curious about what you're looking at. So I'm going to show you a page in my nature journal and kind of explain a little bit more about the process behind it to kind of inspire you to go out into nature. So one of the assignments we had in a class that I took was to do a comparison. So I compared leaves at 3 different stages of decay. So I took these leaves, I drew them, and I just made some comparison notes between the 3 different leaves. And this really allowed me to spend a lot of time getting to know these leaves. I noticed a lot more about this leaf and wondered what was causing some of these marks, why parts were black and brown and some were still green, why these 3 leaves were on the same bush but they looked so different. So it's just a really good chance to ask questions that you don't need the answers to and to sit with nature. I also, for instance, did this page where I was just by a river and kind of drew what I saw. And then other pages, I have a lot more where I write down a lot more journaling and talk a lot more about my recollections of the time that I spent outside. And like I said, it's not about getting the art perfect or even really knowing what you're looking at. I have a lot of questions in my nature journal that I never go and get the answers to. It's just things that I'm thinking while I'm looking at nature. And you can journal your nature in a lot of different ways. So for instance, here is a page that I did about a tomato, and I cut the tomato open. I made notes about what it looked like inside, the coloring, the taste. It's all about spending time outside. And a lot of studies show that taking these pauses to disconnect and be outside can be really refreshing and good for our mental health. It helps ground us more, and it helps us to forget about some of the stress that we might be going through and take time to put our mind onto other things, to pay attention to something else. And even if you don't want to go out and journal in nature and record what you're looking at, I would encourage you to just spend a little bit more time being curious about some of the things that you've seen. Since I started nature journaling, I just noticed that I spend a lot more time looking at flowers or looking at birds flying past and wondering things about them. And I might not always write it down, but sometimes I do. So nature journaling is really, really fun, really relaxing, and a great way to connect back with nature. And you don't have to be out in the wild to do it. I've done a lot of household things like this fruit. I've done vegetables, just anything that I find in the kitchen. We have a number of different books about nature journaling in our collection that you can check out if you want more information, and there's a lot of resources available online. I hope that you will take a second to go out and observe nature today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.